Again for staying with us on the ITV network on this morning on ITV. Lovely Monday morning. Now we're taking you to Rivers State, which has been a major talking point nationally and even globally in the last couple of weeks and months. It was barely 6 months when Governor Sim Fubara came on board, and then the hell was let loose, talking about the protracted crisis between ex-governor Ian Wike, who is the now FCT minister, and the incumbent governor Sim Fubara. Well, as is always the case, we have people on both sides of the divide. Those who are pro-Wike and those who are pro-Sim Fubara, the incumbent governor. The latest being that the council chairman, their tenure has expired, but they claim that there is a law that has extended their tenure. And the governor has gone ahead to now appoint caretaker committees who have also not been allowed to get into office to do the job that they're supposed to do. We're going to be having this conversation in two parts. Today, we'll be having the Honorable Commissioner for Information Rivers State, Mr. Joe Johnson, join us via telephone to ventilate his views on some of these issues. And then tomorrow, we'll be having another personality in that state speak to us on the other side as far as these issues are concerned. But let's first and foremost welcome Joe Johnson, Commissioner for Information, Rivers State. Thank you for joining us, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning to Nigerians and good morning to all those in that studio.
Okay, fantastic. Quickly give us the background on this Rivers State crisis and where we are right now as far as the crisis is concerned.
Well, where we are right now is that obeying the law made by the Rivers State House of Assembly on local government administration, we have put a caretaker committee. The law that they attempted to repeal, which is the law number 5 of 2018, provided a window of a minimum of 90 days in the event that the governor could not conduct an election. It means that he has to put an administrator in whichever form, interim management, caretaker, or whatever form. That is the law that Governor Dili and the succeeding governors operated on. In fact, that law was there when Governor Rotimi Amechi, at the twilight of its administration, conducted the local government election for which Nyesom Wike, who succeeded him, came in and dissolved a democratically elected government and dissolved also the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, which conducted that election. So they attempted to repeal that law, but the court, presided over by Justice Q, said no. What you're doing is alien to our constitution, is alien to even the law that you made. At the time that law was made, the Martin Amewule, who is embattled speaker, was the leader of the House. So that law cannot operate, and it's in conflict with our constitution, which abhors elongation of tenure and done in retrospect. There is a prohibition on retrogressive law. No law is made in retrospect. Any law that is made in retrospect is a bad law, and therefore they cannot operate that law. So there's a subsisting judgment that said that their tenure had elapsed and cannot be extended. That law is sacrosanct, and that is to the extent that we believe that it is the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and every law must be tested. Now, there is that window by their own law that allows the governor to appoint. That is the window that we have enjoyed, to appoint a caretaker.
All right, Honorable Johnson, let me just get your attention to this part of the conversation.
Yes.
We have on good authority that the interim management committee members were not allowed to access the local government by those who were there, claiming that there's a law that has extended their tenure. What is the situation with that issue? I remember Governor Sim saying that this committee can govern their local government from anywhere. Is that still in place?
The governor is the peacemaker. And you know that when two confronting forces meet, you know the consequence. The governor, in trying to reduce, that kind of clash, and acts that council chairmen operate within their jurisdiction. It's not one place that makes a government office in Nigeria. If a government cannot operate in Abuja, in Aso Rock, there are other adjoining offices that also are attached to the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I said, go to your local government. There are district offices belonging to the councils. Operate from any of the offices so chosen that you find, very convenient. So the police had barricaded the place. And I think the police in the explanation is to save lives and property. Let me assume that the first line of charge of the police is to stop two warring factors or factions. But in this case, we are running with the caretaker and things are moving smoothly.
Okay, there are insinuations in some quarters that this protracted crisis that has engulfed the state could have been avoided if Governor Sim Fubara had stayed with the agreements that would enter into with ex-governor and his team in terms of how those who have worked for the party should be engaged, and that relationship was sustained. That Sim, on his part, broke all of these agreements, disregarded them. He was barely 6 months old in office, and he started, putting his own structures in place. What's your reaction to that?
No, Sim never spent up to 6 months in the office. The problem, actually, your calculation, the problem started in October when the attempted impeachment process or proceedings commenced. And then we rose up to the occasion. I don't know what you call agreement, but whatever agreement I know is the one that was put together in Aso Rock by His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic, which is what you call the 8-point proclamation. I was in that meeting, and there were 8 items. 1 is withdraw all impeachment proceedings. 2, withdraw all matters in court. 3, there shall not be premature dissolution of council. 4, return the commissioners who have who have resigned. All those were done and kept by this governor. But the only thing that provoked anybody would have been to see that they say relationship and agreements are usually symbiotic, they are complementary. You reciprocate. The governor came back, withdrew all the cases in court. They went, ambushed us, and got a judgment in Omotosho's court. And in that judgment they got, they filed and deposed an affidavit that they are members of APC. Before Mr. President, on that day of 18th of December, they told Mr. President that they were members of APC. You and I know what is happening now. They are saying they're no longer members of APC, that they are still members of the PDP, that they didn't go to APC. It tells you how dishonest these honorable members could be. There are the same people who swore to an affidavit, and in law, once you depose an affidavit, that is the true position of whatever you're asking for. If you say I'm divorced, do an affidavit. I lost my certificate, do an affidavit. I didn't kill this person, do an affidavit. You deposed an affidavit and said you're a member of APC. Then you went to Mr. President and said you're a member of APC. You turned around now. You're saying you're a member of PDP. Where shall we place them? So I don't know which agreement, but of the agreement, the only agreement we have had is the one who appeared before Mr. President, which was known to the whole world, and they said they were members of APC. Mr. President even said, I cannot drive away newborn babies into my family. So they said they are no longer members of APC. So where do you place them? The governor had kept all the bargains. I mentioned them and I've categorized them. That's the one they did. The only thing they did when they came back was to say, look, that law that gave the governor the right to do caretaker, we will withdraw. They repealed it. The one that will give autonomy to the local government, they were part of the first states, out of the 36 states of the Federation, out of which 23 agreed to autonomy of local government. They said they never wanted autonomy. Even their own House of Assembly autonomy, they said they didn't want. They considered all that to their principal. Today, all those things they never liked prior to 2023 and up to the point this problem started, they now want them all back. So the River State people understand it, the governor understands, Nigerians who are reasonable, and just like your station is taking interest in trying to know, it's important that Nigerians hear that these people are dishonest to themselves. They said they were APC in the morning. Before Mr. President, in the afternoon, they went to court to say they are PDP now. But in the morning, before we went to Mr. President, they already had a judgment from Justice Omotosho, for which the President directed that we should do all our cases. They have pushed us. We withdrew all our defense in the matter they sued. We were defendants. We withdrew, and in law, once a defense party withdraws his own whatever, whoever is a plaintiff has a day. That's what we are.
Fantastic. We followed this story up, and at some point, the impression was that Mr. President had given a directive, and that once Mr. President, waded into the matter, it would be a thing of the past. But rather than the matter, being resolved, we saw an escalation. Was that the fault of Governor Same, or it was the fault of the other side?
No, there was a plot to take over the reign of the state. For whatever reason, whether it was flimsy or known to any law. But the governor, if you recall, his question on the 30th of October is, what did I do? If you say impeachment, there are various components that you can look at before you begin to talk about impeachment. What did I do? And nobody has been able to, and I'm sure, I'm a journalist, you are one. I want to ask, because if you say impeachment, when they removed Ladoja, when the first impeachment took place in Kaduna, I can't remember the name of that governor, may his soul rest in peace. They stipulated all that he did. He did this one, he did that one, he did that one. Within 3 months, is it possible for anybody to have committed such a heinous offense that will require impeachment? We have asked for it, and nobody. So there had been a hatch, there was a plot to take over the reins of the state through the back door. That's why Rivers people are resisting. Rivers people are not resisting because they love football so much, no. But they're feeling that one man cannot pocket the entire state. It is a battle for the soul of Rivers State. It is not the love for football, no. It's the love for the state to say, look, enough is now enough. And I think that is the best that anybody, and Nigerians are also on our side. We may not have all the instruments of cohesion, we may not have everything for us, but it does appear that we're enjoying an organic love for the governor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Joe Johnson, for these views and perspectives that you shared with us. But just on this point, I've heard people say that all that is going on in Rivers State, there are actually things that could have been avoided if some of these pacts that were unseen were actually sustained and maintained. Now, the new language in the state is enough is enough. What does that really mean? Because we are seeing some videos trending online with either former warlords or existing warlords taking sides and threatening fire and brimstone. I'd like to get your perspectives on the implications of this dimension of this crisis.
It's normal. If you have a son, you're a rich father, you marry a son, marry your son a wife, give him a house, buy him bed, and you want him to let you have access into his privacy. You know, I'm talking to Nigerians, and I know that I have mature minds who are listening. Would you, in the interest of peace, allow your father to have his way? If the answer is no, this is probably a picture that I'm painting that makes it look as if this would have been the issue. And any man who could not resist it is not worthy to be a man. So, the soul of the state is what Rivers people are fighting for. There may be what I call foolish majority. There may be those who may be thinking that, oh, this fight was needless, just like in your assertion, you are thinking that it could have been averted. Yes, but there's a limit to everything in life. The Bible says there's a time for everything. There is a time for everything. There's a time to war. There's a time to pacify. So we want to believe strongly that there's a time to go to war. That time is now. It may not be the war that you can see, but you can see how in their own defeatist approach, they have resorted to throwing dynamites. They have resorted to doing street protests. These are people who thought they were gods. Gods, as have added the S. Gods in all spheres. They could capture the state apart, everything was under their control. Yes, even Nigeria was under their control. The only thing that you could hear would be Nigeria and them. So I want to believe strongly that by His grace, this whole thing is simmering down. They are losing strength because God is exposing them. All that they plotted, all that they thought was going to turn for evil has turned to good for us. And all the evil machinations are beginning to, to bounce back. So Nigerians will help us continue to sustain us in prayers. Pray for the governor. He's not a man of perfidy. He's not a troublesome person. He's a man of peace, and he has continued to preach it, and he has won awards as a peacemaker. And I'm sure that God, too, is also watching.
We believe that this crisis is taking a toll on governors in the state. What's your take on that?
No, not at all. We have done so much tremendous. I wish I had the opportunity to give you the scorecard of what we did in 1 year. Most of the projects that you saw on television being flagged up and all those fanfares that you found, some of them were 0% award. You are going 3 days to the time you're going, you award the contract, you bring all the wonderful faces in Nigeria, and then you come and line the streets, and then you flag up projects of 50 million, billion, 80 billion, 0% page. Even in the community of the former governor, the projects we took up on the 23rd, some on 27th of May. I'm talking about 23rd of May, 27th of May. These were last minute projects that were awarded, and all the fanfares of flagging up. We had started at 0% takeover, and we are some 100%, some 95%, and it's in billions. I wish I had the opportunity, and I'm going to send to you a soft copy so you can look at it. I will mark them so you see the projects. These were the things that were. And then in the area of human capital, we may not do all our projects on road infrastructure. We've done so much social infrastructure. You saw how we had a CDQ of 4 billion, which we gave to nano and small medium enterprises. We are building 20,000 low-cost housing. We're doing a lot of roads. We are doing the highest road project. Aside from the Port Harcourt Ring Road, which was our signature project, or legacy project, which we flagged off a few weeks when we came into office, for 200 billion to cover 6 local governments. The intent of that arrangement is to open up model cities and then new towns, because there's no way you can traverse 6 local governments that you won't find economic prosperity or prospects in those areas. We are building the Trans-Calabari Road. This Trans-Calabari Road is going to tie up the entire local governments in the Calabari axis. If you know the topography of River City, you know how the road will run through the kind of thing you find in Third Mainland Bridge. That's what we're going to do for 225 billion. We're not borrowing money. We've never borrowed money in this government to do any project. All the projects, other than the first one, we borrowed 200 billion to start, which is the first, the 51-kilometer Port Harcourt Ring Road. All the other projects were paying from internally generated revenue. We have upped our internally generated revenue from 12 billion to 27 billion. These are facts before us. And how do you do that? And we're putting those monies into the livelihoods of our people. Rivers people are beginning to feel schools, civil servants, health sectors, and all transport sector. We're the only state in this country. I don't know if there are other states running it, but we're still running free palliative buses that take people around the town and some outside
Okay, well, we also have that. We also have that in Edo State. I'm not trying to speak for Edo State government, but that's on the lighter side. But just to ask this question, Joe Johnson, you read out a whole lot of information about the past government. In a sense, Governor Simfubara can't exonerate himself from the shortcomings and some of the failings of that government because he was part and parcel of that government. Perhaps this is coming to the public domain because there is a crack, there is a bifurcation in terms of the relationship that exists. I'd like to get your comment on that.
I don't know what you mean by part and parts of government. If I'm commissioner now, it's my director of finance, politician. Governor Fufuba was accountant general, was permanent secretary, minister of finance, and then accountant general. And accountant general's duty is to take the orders of his principal. I don't know what you mean by part. Will you say no? I will not pay this. I will pay the other one. I'm sure that you're seized with that information. It was a part and parcel. How? He could have been handicapped. He cannot say no. We will not pay this. It's not even on the policy table. All that happens is that the governor and his cabinet, the state executive council, are members of his cabinet, commissioners, and the rest of them. We want to do Mr. ITV. We wrote to his place. Cabinet meets, and then they said 2 billion has been approved for that route. Accountant General raised the money. At what point will it be part and parcel? So let's not misplace or let's not do transnational thing that will not paint the picture. He was accountant general, no doubt. But was he part of the decision making? The question, the answer is for Nigerians to provide. I painted a picture of what it is like. I'm a member of the cabinet. Accountant general don't come to our meetings. All we do is we are awarding contract A, B, C. You raise money, pay percentage this and all that, so that we know where we're going to. So Governor Fuba was a core civil servant. Core civil servant. Thank God people say he was not playing politics. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joe Johnson, the Honorable Commissioner for Rivers State. It's our prayers that this whole crisis will be a thing of the past, so that His Excellency can focus on governance and meet the yearnings and aspirations of the people that are elected. Thank you so much for your time.
I can tell you, I wish I had the opportunity. Like I said, I'll be sending the scorecard so that you can place it side by side with other. There are performing governors. There are first-time governors. Just one year in office is not enough. But I can place it with those who are doing second tenure, who are probably 1 year after their second tenure. So you can judge for yourself. We're very focused. Yes, there's distraction, but even the Noah's Ark, everybody didn't die in the flood. The Noah's Ark saved quite a lot of people. So in our crisis, we have been able to save quite a lot.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. We truly appreciate this, and we hope that next time you oblige us your time for we can have issues placed in the proper perspectives for the benefit of the viewing public. Thank you so much, Commissioner Joe Johnson. All right.